So you starting over as a man, and you've come to the realization that it hurts. It's supposed to hurt. That's good. It's supposed to be difficult. That makes it worth it. That makes it better. That makes you better. Some of us are starting over at an age that when we were younger, what we thought we would be at this particular age, we are nowhere near that goal, that situation, that circumstance that we thought we could put ourselves in. Some of us are starting over and working jobs that we don't think are aligned with who we think we are or what value we think we bring to the table. You may even succumb to jokes from people about the type of job you have. It's okay. They don't know your plan. So with their words and their freedom to express themselves based on what they perceive of you and your particular situation has nothing to do with what you are doing for your particular situation. Individually, what you are doing, the plan that you have nothing to do with them. But because you are a man, because you are of certain age, because society does have expectations already laid out for you prior to you reaching that age, and you are not where society thinks you should be, people are going to give jokes. People are going to say certain things. They're going to write you off. They're going to have comments that are not going to make you feel so good, so sure about yourself. But remember, you're starting over. It's beautiful to start over. You're a man starting over, which means you've went through certain things in life that you can use now, even though you're starting over. You would have not learned these things from not going through the experiences that you went through prior to starting over. What do I mean by that? Okay, let me dumb it down a little bit. You failed at something. You're not where you wanted to be when it comes to something that you was trying to do with your life. You've learned something even though you failed. You went through certain things. You may not realize it now, but when you start over and you start to make decisions, everything that you went through in the past, you're going to use, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, while you're taking up the task, while you're going down that road again. Why? Because you're going to remember when you first did it as a rookie. You're not a veteran yet. You're not an expert, but you're not a rookie anymore. You have experiences. Bad decisions come from lack of experience. Good decisions come from experience. So now that you're starting over, you're going to say, okay, no. When I first did it as a rookie, this didn't work. I felt the pain. I felt the discomfort, but I also got the results. Now I know I need to switch something. I need to change something. Boom. In that moment, in real time, you change. You do something different. Now, this does not guarantee that you're going to be successful, at least in that moment. But what you're guaranteeing is you're learning from your losses. You're learning from what you've done in the past, and you're not doing the same thing. You're not making mistakes. Starting over as a man is not necessarily where am I at based on what society wants. Where am I at based on what I want? Starting over as a man is simply you understanding that you're going to keep going, but while you're on this continuous path of whatever it is that you want, you're understanding that making mistakes is only a mistake if it's done one, maybe two times. If you're doing something three and four times, you're not making mistakes. Your ass is making bad choices. And what do I always say about us making choices? We have built habits. I don't talk about these things because I'm trying to talk at somebody. This is me. This is when I get in front of the camera and I say, I was the dumbass. I was the idiot. I was the fool. Because I was the guy that was doing what? I would do the same thing over and over again. And instead of me sitting down saying, bro, what are you doing? I'm sitting there trying to force my will on something that has no end. It's continuous putting myself in a position I don't want to be in. Now I'm to the point where it's, okay, if I do something wrong, I need to learn from this. I need to do something different. I need to take that experience, embrace it, take that loss, embrace it, and say, okay, I'm starting over as a man. I'm starting over at 30 years old. I'm starting over at a job that I didn't think I would be working. I thought I would be a millionaire. It's good to have that goal, but if you're not there yet, don't give up. But be humble. I'm starting over in a situation where I thought I was going to be with this woman, but I'm not. I'm starting over. I thought I was going to move out of my parents' house, but I haven't. I'm starting over. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm starting over on my weight loss journey. I'm starting over on my diet. I'm starting over. Use what you've went through to get ahead now. Starting over is sometimes getting ahead because you're doing things with a lot more intention, with a lot more focus, with a lot more drive. Why? Because you've gained experience. They say experience is the best teacher in life. This is something that you can allocate whatever you're doing at the moment and say to yourself, okay, what have I done that put me in a situation that I don't want to be in? Some people will say do the complete opposite. I would say take whatever it is that you've done and allow yourself to build based on that, whether it's good or bad, and keep moving forward. Just remember that it's going to hurt. Don't allow yourself to slip into victimhood. Personally, me, myself, I always felt more satisfied when I overcame something that was difficult, when I went through that discomfort, when I knew I had a little bit of fear. If you have some fear, you're probably doing the right thing. If you're comfortable, I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing, but the bigger the risk, the bigger the dream, the bigger the fear may possibly be in that moment until you realize it's not so bad. But you have to go through that. Some of us have to start over. There's nothing wrong with starting over. You know, if you start over from the bottom, that gives you purpose. That is what's going to give you that urge to keep going, even when you don't feel like continuing. You at the bottom. You can only look up. What do I always say? The higher the mountain, the better the view once you reach the top. Get to the peak of that mountain, but it's going to take a whole lot of effort, isn't it? We already know this. I know this. You know this. Sometimes you just got to talk. That's why I'm here. Let's talk. On the opposite side of this, for the people that don't start over and they already reached the pinnacle of success, sometimes it's hard for them to continue doing tasks. Why? Because a lot of people may not say this. You know, everybody live their best life on the internet. Me, I'm giving you the good and the bad. You got to show people that you make mistakes. You got to show people your ass is not superhuman. You're not Superman. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to suffer. You're going to fail. A lot of people that are great or highly successful, they suffer from depression. They don't tell you, and we're not here to judge them, but they do. Why? Because once we've reached the goal or we finished doing something that we had our mind locked in on, you know, everybody say lock in, it's time to go all in. Be careful with only stopping at that goal because you'll slip into depression when you sit back and say, now what? Now what do I do? See, starting over or being done, being rich, being poor, being out of shape, being in shape, being independent, being codependent or dependent, all of these things have a flip side. When you're at the bottom, you look at the top. But when you're at the top, where do you look? You look down. But don't take your ass back down there. When you're overweight, you're thinking about being in shape. But when you get in shape, what do? You settle. And then what you do? You end up going back to being out of shape. The moral of that story or that situation is whatever you do to get to success or wherever you want to be in life, whether you started over and you reached the pinnacle or you never had to start over, but you're at the pinnacle or you're right in the middle, wherever you are at on that spectrum, you have to continue to do. Whatever you did to get there, you got to keep doing while you're there. It doesn't matter if you have more goals or not, because if you don't have goals, you're going to say, now what? And if you do have goals, your ass is going to continue to work. So it's beautiful starting over. As a man, you always have a chance. It doesn't matter what society tells you. When it comes to certain situations in life, a lot of people point out men built society. Men need to get over it. Okay. As a man, you always got a chance. As a man, you always win. As a man, nobody can stop you but you. Not a woman, not family, only you. It's you and you. Why? Because even if you compete with somebody else, before you line yourself up with that person, you have to make sure you don't let you hold you back. So when somebody try to say something like that, or they try to allocate that belief to you to make you feel like you're doing something wrong as a man, remember, it's two sides to every coin. It's two sides to every story. It's his and hers. It's yours and theirs. It's ours and them. It's up, down, left, right, open, close, life and death. Either way it go, you can do it because you're telling yourself. You can push yourself. You can keep going or you can stop. But if you stop, make a choice to not make a mistake and allow yourself to feel depressed. Keep going. Don't go into depression. Don't fall into a state of being depressed. Focus on goals and ignore the rest. See, everybody got something to say, right? We want to have something to do. I'm always working. I've been away for a while. As you guys know, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I have a family. YouTube is not my job, even though I do it. I have a lot of things on my plate. I'm going to always work. Sometimes I step away from this because I'm putting a lot of energy towards something else that's going to be beneficial, specifically for my family. Now, I don't talk about what I have and what I've accomplished because I'm not here to brag. Some of us just need that person that they can listen to, talk to from a distance. And I tell you guys, get in the comment section. Some of us need somebody to remind them. See, I have my father. When I get on the phone with my dad, this is my dad talking to me. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, but what's next? Take a break, but what's next? You start over with this, that's okay. You've you came this far before you realize you need to start over. Whatever you've learned from that, use that as you start over. Kiss your daughters, kiss your sons, kiss your wife, tell them you love them. Work overtime, put money to the side, learn a new investment, try new things, take risks. Don't be attached to it emotionally. You want to be a fool, but you want to be unsatisfied and you want to be disciplined so you can keep growing. This is my dad talking to me. Ignore the lusts. You don't need to chase women. Don't chase ass, chase cash. It's not because you worship money. It's because of what money can do for your family. You're going to have a sense of pride and you're going to have a heightened emotional state when you realize everything you've done, you've allocated to putting your family in a great position to give your children a better opportunity, like I did for you. This is my father talking to me. Some of us don't have fathers. I'm not your father figure, but we can talk. This is why I didn't want to do a podcast. I just want to get on here and be me. I just want to get over here and spread what I've learned. And whoever listening is listening. And if you don't want to listen, I'm not forced to do anything. But I'm back. I've been gone for a while. I'm back. I do have things that I have to do in my life. But I wanted to start off with this one because every day somebody is starting over. Every day somebody is backtracking 10 steps back to get to the point where they can take 30 steps ahead. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be guilty of what you've done wrong. So long as you've never harmed anybody physically, killed anybody, stole from anybody, if you made mistakes, if you said certain things, if you treated somebody a certain way, forgive yourself, allow them to forgive you, forgive yourself, move forward. Don't feel ashamed to work a job that you never thought you would. Don't be ashamed to be a grown man who ain't making millions. And don't be ashamed to be a man who suffers from a little bit of fear. Because sometimes when you have fear, that means you're not stupid. Y'all stay up.